if our dog is excitedly spinning and yipping at the door and we need to get them leashed up, but they're really excited, if we believe that our dog is difficult, uncooperative, that is likely to make our dog even more excitable because they might get a little frustrated. They might even get worried. They will likely escalate their behavior, which simply confirms our beliefs about our dog. And then the dog mom and her dog are stuck in a challenging loop, which will likely spiral into meltdowns, maybe even shutdowns. But if we instead don't carry that old belief to the door with us, it can be a completely different experience. Hi, I'm Kathy Kowalik, and I believe that our dogs connect us to the heart and soul of what really matters in life. So hang out, and we'll take a deep dive into the human-dog connection and explore strategies that will inspire you to create legendary, enlightened partnership with your dog. This is the Enlightened by Dogs podcast. Well, hello, Kathy Kowalik here, your host of the Enlightened by Dogs podcast, and I hope the topics we bring forward on this podcast gives you lots to think about and that it helps promote curiosity in how you live with and interact with and how you think about your dogs and what it means to live in cooperation with our dogs. So that's what we're doing. And I hope that sense of curiosity is inspired in you. And that's why I'm talking about today's topic. I think it's an important one, and I'm hoping my intention is that it inspires some curiosity in you relative to how you think about your dog, not necessarily consciously, because a lot of things are subconscious. We have these subconscious beliefs, etc. So I want to put out this kind of cute little alliterative phrase that I coined: when dog moms believe, cooperation is achieved. So, have you heard of the Pygmalion Effect, also known as the self-fulfilling prophecy? Well, this comes out of research that demonstrated that teacher expectations influence students both positively and negatively. And a quote from a study done back in 1985, published by Rosenthal and Babad, this is the quote, quoting, "When we expect certain behaviors of others, we are likely to act in ways that make the expected behavior more likely to occur." Whew, mind-blowing. In a nutshell, that means that what we believe about our dog and their behaviors literally and directly influences their actual behavior. And I have seen it time and again with our dogs, my own dogs and my students' dogs. And let me be clear that the actions that we take subconsciously are literally out of our awareness. You know what I mean? They're not typically conscious. We don't even know that we are behaving differently toward our dogs based on subconscious beliefs and subconscious programming. You know what I mean? And yet it's in the smallest of ways that the biggest effects can happen. So, for example, to illustrate just how powerful this is, I'll give you a very quick version of a story around one of my early partnership students, Dee, who was overwhelmed by the dog-to-dog reactivity of her White Shepherd Phelan. Now, he had gotten pretty bad, and he even attacked one of their other family dogs. And I want to say that Dee had done everything right to fulfill her dream of a dog sport partner after spending years working in rescue and rehab, and she planned on finally having fun raising a new pup that would be her dog sport partner. And so she went to the best breeder of top-notch dogs, raised him in the best possible way. And when he started showing signs of dog reactivity, she didn't mess around, and she reached out for expert help right away. But as many of you may have experienced, nothing was working, and his dog reactivity escalated, and she really was heartbroken by the thought that she would have to return him to the breeder, that he just wasn't fitting in with the family because her other family dogs she felt were in danger. I mean, she loved him deeply, but he was impossible to live with, and her family was in turmoil. And so Dee came to me as a last resort, which was often the case. And her first assignment that I gave to her was to think of her why and her love for her dog, and to tell him that he was perfect just the way he was, even if he was acting out, and even if she felt no love for him in the moment. And so she thought I was crazy, but she did it. And that decision to go ahead and do that was the very day that Dee broke out of the never-ending stress spiral that she was in, that so many of us get in. And you know what? It goes both ways, right? You see, our dogs already accept us as perfect, just the way we are, without judgment, right? The same way a seed is perfect and holds the promise of what is possible. And so Dee and her dog went on to do amazing things together as partners, including Phelan being happy and confident in training and showing, and even being an assistant dog to help reactive dogs. Now, we don't judge a seed just because it's not a tree, right? I mean, we accept it as perfect just the way it is. And it's in that acceptance that our dogs can blossom into their full potential right alongside us, as we do too. Okay, so let's go back to the research. Rosenthal found that beliefs affect teachers' moment-to-moment interactions in 1,000 almost invisible ways. Teachers give the students that they expect to succeed what they need to succeed, like feedback, touch, nodding and smiling at those kids more. Yeah. So for example, if our dog is excitedly spinning and yipping at the door and we need to get them leashed up, but they're really excited, if we believe that our dog is difficult, uncooperative, we are likely to respond with something like, "Rufus, you are always so difficult. We can never just have an easy time of this. You need to sit and stay right now." Now, that is likely to make our dog even more excitable, because they might get a little frustrated. They might even get worried. They will likely escalate their behavior, which simply confirms our beliefs about our dog. And then the dog mom and her dog are stuck in a challenging loop, which will likely spiral into meltdowns, maybe even shutdowns. But if we instead don't carry that old belief to the door with us, it can be a completely different experience. What if we bring the belief that our dog, maybe we have a magician type dog, right? If we bring the belief that our dog has a quick stimulus response and is a happy, joyful, spirited dog by nature, and after taking a deep breath and smiling and remembering how much she loves her dog, that dog mom says, "Rufus, I know that you are so happy to go for a walk, and I am too. So let's figure out a new plan for getting you leashed up. How about we go over to the kitchen away from the door where it's easier while we figure this out? Yeah. So those two scenarios are dictated by two different interpretations of the same behavior of the dog based on two different sets of beliefs by the dog mom, right? So it's important that that you, that me, that all of us, that you get unstuck from your limiting beliefs about your dog. Remember that we've been immersed in a dog culture based on the idea that a well-behaved dog needs to be obedience trained, and that if we are struggling with unwanted behaviors, that means that we're not good enough or that there is something wrong and impossible about our dog. Neither of those things is true, and we have hundreds, thousands probably, of dog moms and their dogs as proof that living in cooperative partnership works in real life for all breeds of dogs and mixes and ages and backgrounds and histories. Oh, so often our dog's behavior triggers negative thoughts and emotions that come up for us because we're judging that behavior as inappropriate. Like we might be thinking, oh, they should know better. Or we've told them 1,000 times. Or you're like, why are you giving me such a hard time again? Right? Or maybe we have doubt in ourselves, feeling like, oh, I can't do this. I can't handle this again. Or I'm worried about where this is going. Or we're worried about if we're doing the right thing, how to handle this, right? Remember that behavior is communication. Even your own behavior and your own feelings and doubts, that is just communicating that you don't feel confident and that you don't yet have a plan. And it's the same for our dogs. Even when they're barking like mad or pulling you hard or running away when you call or jumping or mouthing or growling, it's important to remember that they're communicating that there's something going on under the surface, and that's the only way that they have in that moment to communicate how they feel. I mean, okay, maybe it's not the best way to communicate, but that's what it is, right? And there could be multiple things at play, often under the surface for the dogs, just like for us. Like maybe you're worried about an unexpected vet bill and you had a really hard day at work and the boss is upset at you without finding out the details about what happened, and the traffic was awful on the way home and now it's really late, and you walk in the door and everyone is demanding something from you and it all feels like too much. And so you snap. Maybe you can't even say why, right? Maybe you can't even explain why you snapped except to tell your spouse, well, it's been a hard day. And it can be the same for our dogs. When we look under the surface for interpreting our dog's behavior, it's good to start with their basic needs. Are they hungry? Are they thirsty? Are they overtired? Do they need to pee? Are they feeling lonely? Are they overstimulated? Have they had too much arousal? Is cortisol stacking up in their system? Have they had enough sleep? Have they had enough exercise? Have they had too much exercise? Does it seem that they're demanding attention when what they really need is connection? So adapting this Ross Greene quote about children for our dogs. My dog does well if they can do well. So instead of being stuck in the limiting beliefs of my dog always or my dog never, get curious and try these instead. My dog alarm barks when he feels unsure about a person. My dog jumps frantically on people when she feels she's being rejected when trying to greet. My dog needs my supportive guidance when other dogs are coming close and he feels trapped by the leash. My dog feels uncomfortable right now, and so I need to be a clear and loving guide. And one more piece that I want you to think about is that when we indulge ourselves in repeating unhelpful thoughts in our head or out loud, that triggers our own defense system. And that's when we get frustrated, impatient, and reactive because our nervous system is now moving into defensive mode. So let's not do that, okay? All right, my friend, I hope that you've enjoyed this thought-provoking idea about what we believe when dog moms believe cooperation is achieved, and I hope that you implement it into your life. I'd love to hear all about that. Yeah, let me know. Get in touch. Let me know how you have used this information. And in the meantime, be brilliant and have an awesome week. Bye-bye. Hi, I'm Kathy Kowalik, and I believe that our dogs connect us to the heart and soul of what really matters in life. So hang out, and we'll take a deep dive into the human-dog connection and explore strategies that will inspire you to create legendary, enlightened partnership with your dog. This is the Enlightened by Dogs podcast.